Hey, so I'm back. Just got done walking Grayson. Let me take my jacket off here. So, I wanted to go on the topic of perfectionism because it occurred to me that you may be saying, well, what difference does it make if I'm a perfectionist? If that's how I feel good being, then why can't I just, leave me alone? Let me be a perfectionist. Let me go ahead and put on another light here. Oh, I'll turn that one off so it won't be in your eyes. Okay, I'm going to give you an example of how being a perfectionist affected my life in a negative way. Yeah. So I was, and I have not, I've just thought briefly about this actually while I was walking Grayson. So, hope I can express it in a way that makes sense to you. So, I was brought up in a family where it was considered a good thing to be smart, to achieve, getting along with other people. I'm going to put another light on too. Getting along with other people was not stressed, or when I say stressed, I mean emphasized. What was emphasized was, doing well in school, doing a good job at anything that you do, okay? You should do the best that you can. Oh, my mother used to tell me when she was a little bitty kid in school, maybe kindergarten or first grade or something, they had a show and, each of them had something to say. And her line was, do your best, your very best, and do it every day. And I think that actually became some sort of a mantra for her throughout her life because, I don't know, maybe not so much for her as something that she passed on to me as her daughter. My brother, I don't know. I have a brother who's 8 years older. I'll have to ask him what he thinks about that. But anyhow, so I grew up feeling like, I had to make the most of the areas where I was good, because I realized I wasn't good in every area. So, okay, as an adult, this is what happened, especially as I got older. And I'm going to give you a specific example that came to mind. Have you ever heard of the game Bunko? I had never heard of it before. And a friend of mine apparently used to have groups of ladies would get together. They'd, go to different ladies' houses, I guess every month, and they'd all play this. And it would be, maybe, I don't know, a dozen or more ladies. Oh, I think more actually, because you had to have a certain number. And one time, now my friend knew that I didn't like playing games, and I'll get into that more. One time they were at the last minute lacking somebody to make up one of their bunco groups. So she called me. She said, I know you don't like games. Just come and do this. We need somebody. I think you'll have a good time. There's a lot of nice people, blah, blah, blah. So I decided, all right, I'll go. Now, why did I not like games? I didn't like group games because I felt that my joy in the game was winning or standing out in some way. If I had been in the Miss America contest, I wouldn't have had to come in first, but at least I would have to be Miss Congeniality or something, I mean, I would have to have some kind of recognition of my efforts. Not because I was like prideful, but because to me, that showed that yes, I had really worked hard and done my best. So Anyway, you can imagine that playing games like this game, I found out, involved you had to do math in your head, not difficult math at all. And, or at least, I don't remember how the game works, but I realized when they explained the rules that if I could do simple math quickly in my head, that I could do well at this. And, I always had the excuse to fall back on if I didn't do well. Well, yeah, I've never played this before. It's my first time. Well, don't you know, I ended up being the, winner of the evening. I don't know. Now that I think back about it, oh golly, it's kind of embarrassing. I think it was because I did so well, because I won a certain number of matches, but I don't know, maybe they drew a name and it just happened to be mine that came up. But in my mind, I was under so much pressure. It was the perfectionism to just, I couldn't enjoy being with the other ladies, and chit-chatting. I was doing that math, so I could come up with the right answer every time. I'll have to read up after this on what the rules of bunco are, and see if what I remember is in fact what it was. But the point is, how like people will get together and they'll play cards, or they'll go to a bingo game, or I don't know, or even people who play baseball and other kinds of sports together. Whether it's a sport where you're sitting around a table with cards in your hand, or it's something where you're running and sweating and everything, and whether skills are involved or not. For me, it was always a stressful thing because I had to do my best. I had to succeed and distinguish myself in some way. And I had to have some kind of excuse to fall back on in case I didn't do well. See, my friends thought that I was very bright and that I did well at the things that I did, and they could depend on me and all this kind of stuff. Well, a perfectionist is not going to let people down. Anyhow, so basically, I went to that game, but whenever she would invite me, because she was a big, get together in groups and do things, play games, stuff like that, most of the time that she would invite me, I would say no. Now, part of that was because I had a job where all day I was or many times I was just bombarded by people. I worked in a huge open office with several dozen people, a high noise level. The person next to you, or we were like in pods of 4 people. 3 of those people could be on the phone or dealing with other people, and I had to sit there and do my work, or maybe I had to deal with people. When I got home, I didn't want to have the pressure of dealing with people. So, for her, she was like a stay-at-home mom. She homeschooled and didn't have all of that adult interaction. So I think these things were fun for her, but for me, it was not fun. It was the opposite of what I wanted to do. So the entire situation was one that checked all my boxes for stay away from this. You're going to have to relate with people. You're going to have to do your best and try to excel at something. You're going to have to, have some kind of excuse in case you don't excel and you don't come off as being the person your friends usually think of you as. And, so basically that put me in, whenever I was in situations with other people, frequently, not all the time, but frequently, as being anxiety igniting situations. And years ago, I kind of worked through this before recent times, but years ago, I remember, I would get together with other people, and if I, in my own judgment, thought I had said something stupid or came across as, just not right for the situation. Or if maybe I picked up from somebody else, maybe they looked at me funny, or they didn't pick up on, my cues or conversational cues, I would go over and over it in my mind. Part of that is being obsessive also. But anyway, and then I would worry about it. So the first three things that I've, read to you about: worry, obsessive thinking, and perfectionism. To a certain degree, I had all of those. And the fact is that all of us, nobody's perfect. I know that very well now. But we all have things that we can improve. And sometimes we are not able to see what needs to be improved, or we're not able to see and think about, do I want to improve this or that? Because other things have to happen first, Anyway, as I usually say, I could go on and on. I mean, I have a whole lifetime of situations, but you know what? Golly, it's exciting to me. There are so many things that as I get older, I'm becoming aware of in myself that I can work on and change. You can teach an old dog new tricks. I'm still growing and changing. And you know what? I'm becoming happier with my life because I'm becoming happier with myself. And that's because instead of having a fixed mindset where this is just how I am, I have a growth mindset, which is, ooh, this is how I am, but I don't know. Could I be different? What other ways could I be? Is this an area where if I changed, I might experience life in a nicer way or in a better way? And I've also come to appreciate being with other people more. I really worked hard to raise my kids to be outgoing and to relate with other people, to do the things that I felt uncomfortable doing myself. Oh, I knew how to do them. I could go into a situation and, people, oh, Sylvia's so outgoing and she's funny and she always has something interesting to say, and I would draw other people out. Oh, but it was a burden for me. It was a stressor. Didn't like to have to do it because I was trying to live up to some standard in my mind rather than just being able to be comfortable with myself, therefore be comfortable with other people and enjoy a situation. So, if this rings a bell for any of you, something to think about. And don't be afraid of it. You know what? If there are areas in your life that you feel need to change, areas where you need to grow, and it doesn't seem to be working, well, give it a rest for a little while. Work on something else. And then come around again. Because not everything can be done right now. Sometimes other things have to be changed and prepared and modified in our lives for us to be at a place where we can work on certain things. Okay, well, I hope that this brought you hope. And I hope that maybe it made you aware of some challenges like, you don't have to go bungee jumping or try to climb Mount Everest or something like that. Take on a new sport or hobby or, go on a TV game show. There's plenty of challenges right inside of you that are pretty exciting. I'll talk to you later.